Is it true that there are separate brain states for each experience of a human being? Is it true that for each emotional state we can point to specific brain and hormonal states that are reproducible? If all this were really true, the physicalists should be able to read minds after their program is realized. In that case, the physicalist could list the brain states and the thoughts and emotions implied by each brain state. I'm assuming a certain threshold that forces discretization of the brain states. But the fact is there are only finitely many possible brain states in our universe, and therefore only finitely many possible humanly recognizable thoughts at a given segment of time. So what happens when we develop AGI, for instance, and the computer comes up with an idea outside of the humanly possible number of thoughts? Will we be able to understand the new thought at least as a thought? If you don't like that idea, what about if we list all the possible human thoughts and use some mechanical means of forming a new thought that is different from all the thoughts on our list? Will we not be able to understand that thought as a thought? For to understand the basic import of the thought, the statement of the thought would have to be among the finite number of thoughts possible to humans. Would the thought, when read, appear to us as a random or nonsense sentence? That is, would we not be able to detect that intelligence could have created the thought thus stated? To be a little more specific, suppose that we generated elementary thoughts in increasing order about integer numbers, for instance. Let's say we look at integer numbers starting with 1 and ending with 1 by 10 to the 16th power. If each distinct number has its own unique configuration of neural pattern corresponding to the thought, there will have to be an integer number in this range that we could not recognize as an integer number, because all the possible neural patterns were used up. Then presentation of the thought to the individual might be met with skepticism that it is a thought and not random sounds or random characters on the page. Yet how could this be given that the integer would have the general form of an integer number and only a maximum of 17 digits? However, if it is not true that a mind presented with the numbers as given eventually reaches an impasse, then every mental phenomenon would not have its own unique brain state, and there would have to be something in addition to the finite brain involved in the phenomenon of thinking about the numbers.